This is WCBG, Wagner College's very own radio station. WCBG is broadcasted from Staten Island, New York. This is Jeanine, and today's interview is with Eyelid Kid. He'll be going on tour and will actually be in New York on Saturday, January 18th at the Sultan Room. The Sultan Room is located at 234 Star Street in Brooklyn, New York. Doors open at 7. Be sure to get tickets and stay tuned for this interview.
Hello?
Hi, is this Eyelid Kid?
Yeah, this is
Hi, this
Paul.
is Jeanine.
Nice
Hi,
to meet
Paul.
you. Yeah, I realize I do that a lot. I never say my real name
It's okay. I
until
was gonna ask
before
anyway,
meetings.
but nice to meet
How's it
you.
going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too. How you went back home, right?
Yeah, I'm in Austin right now.
How is it there?
It's nice. It's like in the 70s and yeah, not very winter like, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's nice. It kind of snowed here yesterday in New York, so
I've
yay.
heard. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
right. Just escape the cold
Yeah,
for a
for a
little
little
bit.
bit. So, I was wondering if you can tell me how you got interested in music.
Yeah, my dad is a musician, so there really was just instruments laying around the house growing up. We had a piano and a lot of guitars. And I guess around like middle school, me and my older brother just kind of naturally started picking them up. Um, and we had been going to my dad's shows in Austin for like our whole lives, and he had been playing there for like 30 years. So um, yeah, it really happened pretty naturally. Everything I do is like self-taught or through my dad, who was also self-taught. Um, so yeah, it kind of ran in the family and started out playing more like rock and roll and learning like Jimi Hendrix and shredding the guitar and all that. And then naturally kind of progressed with my generation of electronic music and more pop and hip hop influenced.
So, what's your favorite instrument to play?
Um, right now, my favorite instrument to play is this like drum pad that
Mm,
keys off like vocal samples,
that's
kind of
awesome.
like lead riffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my favorite instrument has always been like the drums, but it's definitely my worst instrument. Um, I'm best at guitar, but the drums are just really fun to hit.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to play something like that. Like back in the day, I used to play the trumpet, which isn't really like band material. So I was, yeah,
Hey, it could be. You never know.
yeah, maybe if it's a ska band, but like maybe not.
Yeah. And then I just added like a floor tom to the front of the stage, and I kind of like douse it with this colorful baby powder, and then yeah, this drum pad next to it that plays a lot of like the lead instrumentation of the set, and
That's
that's
pretty
kind of like
sick.
the most fun part is to jump onto that station and just like beat it.
That's pretty sick. Can you describe your writing and production process for me?
Yeah. Lately I've been trying to just build a like as simple of an instrumental as I can that will like inspire writing, and then I kind of just hook up a mic and start recording um, like scat words until real words kind of like form out of those or such. Um, Sometimes I'll have more of a concept for a song before I go into it, and I'm connected with a lot of people via the internet who send me instrumentals. Um, so often, like if I get sent one that feels inspiring, I'll just kind of jump straight to it with vocals and lyrics. But yeah, lately I'm trying to be more diligent on finishing the writing process before I like start mixing or producing, because I don't know, the two can kind of get lost in each other. Um, so yeah, lately I've been really trying to focus on just like finishing the song
Mm,
without any tricks or production behind it, and making sure it like works as like on its own, and then kind of going in and filling in like the ear candy of the track and having fun in the production.
I feel like that's super interesting because I know like they kind of go hand in hand, but at the same time, I feel like placing an emphasis on one over the other is kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
well,
But
it's so easy to like just want to like start throwing tons of drums or whatever you think the track should have eventually.
mhm.
But it's not always like the best case scenario because it kind of like you start relying on those moments instead of like the lyrics being fully fleshed out and saying what you want to say.
Mhm.
So
But at
it's
the
just kind of like a conscious like controlling my ADD and not jumping to like the later end of the track.
but at the same time, I feel like that layering in itself is its own kind of art that like you can hear a different side of the story through the different parts that are added, especially in like Rose Gold. I heard a lot of like nuances that I didn't really expect to hear at first, like and I feel like
Yeah, no, you're totally right. That's like actually a prime example of like kind of produced the track before I wrote it fully.
it came together really
Um,
well.
Thank you. Yeah, and actually, I think there is like kind of a simplicity to what the lyrics. It kind of almost like puts more emphasis on the lyrics that you do have when
Hmm.
it's not, like a full 3 pages of lyrics or whatever. I guess none of my songs are like that, but yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I feel like it's kind of important today because like I know I get in moods when I listen to different artists or like I'm in a mood and I want to listen to somebody and like listening to your tracks it kind of like made me take a step back and just be in the moment of the song because it was more so focusing on like the instrumental and I was kind of very surprised but also at the same time like it was necessary for me. I don't know. Like yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Like in the middle of my album right now, so it's nice to hear that perspective.
So, you're in the process of writing an album, correct? Or it came out?
Yeah,
Yes.
um, I guess I would say all the songs are written, and almost all of them are produced and mastered. I'm kind of like the last home stretch of like tweaking little things. Um, yeah, so it's pretty close.
Awesome. Because I noticed, like, um, talking to some other artists, I know with like Spotify culture, it's been super important for these like singles to be released. But at the same time, like, for me personally, I'm always like, oh, I want to hear an album because I want to hear a story. And
Right.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting journey. So, what is your opinion on streaming services like Spotify?
Um, my opinion changes like every day, and lately my opinion has been that I don't really want to worry about it, and like
Mm-hmm.
when I finish this, the plan is more so going to be to like try and build a team of people who are down to worry about it and who will kind of take some of that responsibility off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think a lot of people listen to singles, and I'm definitely one of those. Um, but I do think that if like the single does like entice me, then I will like follow up with the album for sure. Um, I think that's how it's always been, but I mean, and I also like just listening to albums, like especially if it's something I've been anticipating for a while or something like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's just like if people like it, they like it, and they'll like listen to more, and they'll keep an eye out for you, and if not, they'll listen to it once and move on. Or I really don't know.
I think that's a great answer. I I do think like Spotify is great for like introducing to new artists because I've found a lot of people like I never would have thought, and sometimes they're the people that you're like, oh my god, I have to tell all my friends. So it's always good. On the topic of
Yeah.
Spotify, about a month ago, Spotify Wrapped came out. So what was your artist of the decade?
Oh gosh. Um, if I have to answer this, I think it was Drake.
Okay.
But and I don't have to defend that too much. Drake is a crazy big good artist, but like I think more like in my top five was Tori Moore, Tame Impala, Foster the People, I believe, and Frank Ocean.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was happy with the runner-ups. Um,
Yeah, I know,
no,
like, when my friends asked me, I was super surprised at mine, but it happens. It was like, it's very strange. It was Set It Off. Um, it was Set It Off, Fall Out Boy, Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, and Against the Current.
oh damn, there's kind of a theme there.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I was all over the place, but at the same time I wasn't. But
Yeah,
yeah. See, music connects people. All different
yeah.
types. So, if you can play with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
If I could do what?
Record or perform with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ah, man, that's a really hard question. Can I give you like a dead and an alive answer?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Alive, I would probably say Frank Ocean.
Mm.
Yeah. I just think he's an insane artist, and his stuff has a lot of depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Very talented, and I think a lot of people agree.
Yes.
And then dead, wow, maybe John Lennon.
Hmm.
Although I don't know, that sounds like a weird answer now when I say it.
It could be anyone, so I know it's a hard question.
I don't know. It's hard. I mean, is Sam Cooke dead? I like him a lot. I just sound insensitive in this answer now. I think yeah,
Okay.
Sam Cooke, Frank Ocean.
Okay. Pretty interesting.
I'd
I
have
really
to kind
like
of tap
that.
into my R&B self, but
I like that a lot. So what type of music are you listening to right now, and is it inspiring you for future songs?
I actually try to not listen to too much music while I'm in my album mode.
Nice.
Just because I think you could constantly be kind of changing the direction of where you're going, and I think influences do that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, I'm pulling up my Spotify. What have I been listening to? I have been listening to, I don't know, Brockhampton.
Nice.
If you're familiar with them.
Yes.
I kind of grew up close-ish to them.
Really?
I was in Austin while they were doing their thing in San Marcos and kind of forming, and yeah, I think we overlapped at some parties a few times, and
That's pretty
I don't
cool.
know, they feel close to home in that regard, but I think just the kind of format of what they're doing with their band
Mm-hmm.
is really interesting, and I'm actually a part of a project that is pretty similar to that, where there's kind of kids all across the world, in Europe and on both coasts and things like that. There's 12 of them.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a bizarre experience, but it's fun, and I think it's kind of at least a future format of making music. Get a lot of different influences really quickly into one song or one album.
I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Everyone pulls inspiration from different things, but at the same time, it has to be. I don't know. I really like the answer how you said when you're in an album mode, you're just it's all coming from you. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just what the song needs, hopefully, instead of what people are influencing me to do in the moment.
Right. So, since you're from Austin, is there a local scene there that you grew up with that kind of changed the way you looked at music?
Yeah, most definitely. The scene in Austin is super supportive, and there's a lot of places to play. And kind of right when I got out of high school, I joined this art collective who was hosting parties, and those parties kind of grew out of house parties into venues, and then they started selling out venues pretty frequently. and I started getting really close with him. So I would be like headlining these shows out of high school that were like 600 plus people attending, and it just was like this really like momentum gaining thing. Um, and it was really hard to leave that, but I did decide to leave it to move to LA like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I always like,
So
yeah, I always like
it
asking
was
about that.
impactful, and it was really supportive. But also, it's still alive, and well, it's definitely still alive, and I'm kind of tapping back into it now. And I've like gone back every year for different occasions, and still have this like really strong hometown support.
It's so sweet and like so nice. I feel like coming from New York, or at least like on Staten Island, there is like no scene. The scene does not exist. It's like dead. So for me, it's kind of interesting to hear about all these different places where there's like this supportive environment where younger artists and like newer artists can like flourish. Because here I kind of feel like New York can be a stopover, not really like budding, but at the same time, like it exists, but not really.
Totally. And I mean, I think, what I've seen like slowly growing in Austin is like more of a environment for pop, or more of an audience for like pop and electronic and hip hop, rather than just like psych rock,
Right.
which is definitely like the prominent. There's just so many psych bands here. Um, but it's cool to see like that venues are starting to like kind of open up to just other genres in general. Yeah, and it seems like, I don't know, I guess every city kind of has like multiple scenes, but it seems like Brooklyn is also like pretty heavy with grunge and psych rock. But I think that's just because like people more at that like local level tend to like be playing that kind of music, I think.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
most people when they're trying to make pop, they're kind of like coming at it at like a different angle and trying to like skip the whole local scene. But
No, yeah,
I don't know.
I kind of feel
It's
that.
just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
hard here.
we're playing our first show out in Brooklyn this month, so I'm
Oh, nice.
really excited about that.
That's very exciting. You're going on tour in a few days, right?
Yeah. Yeah, our
Yes.
kickoff is Friday.
Nice. Can you tell me a little bit about your plans for tour?
Yeah, so we're going to kick off here out of Austin, and then we're going to go play San Marcos the next day. And then we have a very long drive up to New York. And then we're going to be playing 2 shows in Brooklyn. And then I think a show in Philly, but that one is just still, I don't know, Philly seems like a strange city. And that one's still trying to get locked down. But, and then we have 3 more shows in Memphis, Chattanooga, and Nashville.
Nice.
All kind of on the way back to Austin. So, yeah, it should be fun. It should be kind of like a little mini tour, kind of like in the Tennessee area with those 3 shows, and then in the Austin area, and then in Brooklyn.
That's exciting. So, what's your favorite venue that you've played in, or are you looking forward to play in during this tour?
I think I'm looking forward to playing the Sultan Room in Brooklyn the most.
Nice.
It just has like a really great reputation to it. I've seen photos of the stage, and everyone I've been talking to about kind of landing that show has just like held the Sultan Room in like really high regards, and like I think all my friends are excited to kind of like group up there.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pretty
and it'll
lit
just be
venue.
the first time on the East Coast for us.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, and
That's
even
very
though I
exciting.
kind of lived out there for a year and a half, and still I'm kind of like in between Austin and Brooklyn. But my band lives in Austin, so it was kind of like difficult to get a show together out there last year.
That's very
But
exciting.
yeah,
Like East
and then
Coast.
the Viper Room in LA was a really fun venue, and also like kind of a historic type venue.
Okay, can you describe the one in LA for me because I don't know much about it?
Yeah, I mean, the Viper Room was like, I think it was Johnny Depp's venue. He like opened it up like a long time ago, and I want to say that's right. I gotta like research that. It has history to it though, and like
Okay.
everyone talks about like the Viper Room on Sunset, and I mean it's kind of like just a dive bar in a sense. I mean it has a nice stage, but it's not super big. Like the room is like 300 capacity, and when I moved out to LA, I was just ready to play a show out there, and my drummer and dancers flew in, and we had like a whole kind of electronic lineup there, and we sold the venue out, and it was great. It's a lot of fun.
That's exciting. I feel like some of the best venues are like the ones that are like little holes in the wall because like it's that intimate experience.
Yeah, that's definitely the case there.
Okay. So I have a question that our PR director Grace came up with, and we've been asking everyone, and we've been getting very, very different answers, and sometimes I feel like it's controversial. But what is your opinion on releasing an artist's unreleased music after they've passed away? Should it be released or should it not?
Oh man, I'm reading this book right now that's kind of influencing me to like say like nothing we do really belongs to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that was not really in the book, but that's kind of like how it makes me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say like I think it's okay. I think like releasing an artist's music after they've like deceased is like totally fine. I just don't think it's usually good.
Mm-hmm.
Just like sequels to movies for me,
Yes.
like they're never good, but like I guess it doesn't mean they shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. Because one, I don't think the person who died like really cares. You know, they're not here anymore. I don't know. I just like I think like everything should just be like given and put out there. There should be more of it, and like I think we are moving more into a spirit of like everyone's like sampling, everyone's just like
Mm-hmm.
there's like less and less like law behind it, and I kind of think that's like in the end like a better way
So like,
for like art to kind of just breathe with whoever like wants to put it out. I mean, but then it's like it always like boils down to like intention, and if someone's like intention is just to like milk money from the artist after they pass, like of course that's not like a good thing.
mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's my answer. It's like sure, it should, but that it probably won't be good, or at least I haven't heard a lot of good stuff come from that artist.
Yeah, that's why, like, as a fan, I know, like, you want to hear more and you want it to be public domain. But at the same time, it's like, would the artist actually be happy with the final product that was released? But you still want to hear it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you'll never know, you know,
Yeah.
if they would have been happy. And yeah, it's a weird subject. There should be a conversation around it. That's for sure.
That is
Because I feel like I could easily be like, you know, turned the other way if someone was like had a really powerful argument towards it. But I don't know. Intuitively, I feel that like, you know, it doesn't really matter, and that everything should potentially be released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of why we ask this question, because we want to try to start that conversation about this since it's becoming so prominent today. Like that Whitney Houston song with Kygo, or like there was an example that I was given, the Lil Peep song.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of little. I feel like yeah, both with like Lil Peep and XXX, there's like as much material being like released still as like when they were alive,
Right.
which is kind of like bizarre. Like that means someone is working pretty hard to like milk every little demo that they like touched. But that's why I think it's like it's not good. It's because like they would have released it if it was good and if it was ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're going into their hard drives and grabbing like just little ideas that, you know, it's like if you took a writer and like took their like, notes out of their phone and tried to like build like a Harry Potter out of it. It's like just not going to be the same.
Right.
So maybe it shouldn't. I don't know. But then I guess I could see like certain cases where like, I don't know, like why not at least have those? I mean, maybe it should just be like branded as something else, like not necessarily like under their artist and under their discography from when they were alive, but like, you know, their dead mixtape or something. That's not a great term for it, but like.
No, I like that concept. That's the first time I've heard that one. That's pretty interesting. Like this topic has been compared to like Kurt Cobain's journal, so anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And I don't know, that's crazy. Kind of crazy to think about.
yeah. So on a different note, what do you do when you're not making music?
I mean, lately that just hasn't been a thing. I've been acting a good amount. So I act and I work out. And I really like to go outside and go on adventures and rock climb, and I'm pretty outdoorsy, but that kind of comes after other things. But there'll definitely be some moments on tour where I'll be able to run around and jump on rocks.
Yeah, the outdoors is kind of nice. Like growing up in a city, or like, well, Staten Island's not real. It's a city, but like there's a lot of trees. So like there's parks and paths and mostly parks and nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outdoors is so refreshing instead of like going to Manhattan where you see skyscrapers everywhere.
It's true. Yeah, growing up in Austin, I was pretty close to a lot of like awesome nature spots, just like springs and campgrounds, and yeah, I did a lot of that growing up.
Nice. Okay, so my last question for you would be, what are your plans for the new decade of 2020?
Well, to go on this tour, release an album, and then ideally like book a more prominent role in the acting world.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of like my big goals.
That's super exciting.
I didn't have any crazy resolutions or anything, but it's just, more of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Clarify the story to my fans existing, and, just put out content that I'm really proud of.
I absolutely love that. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me.
Yeah, of course.
So have a great
Thank
day.
you for asking me some interesting questions.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for giving some really insightful answers. Like, they were really good.
Nice. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye. Again, that was Eyelid Kid. If you really enjoyed today's interview and his music, be sure to check out his tour. Remember, he'll be at the Sultan Room on January 18th at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, New York. Hope to see you there. Have a great day. Bye.